What's that, my bro?
All right, hip hop, love it or hate it? Question. Yes or no? I mean, I'm sorry, not yes or no. Do you love it or hate it? Like, which one?
I mean, if I got that choice, I hate it.
Hate it. All right, Derek says hate. Let's go with Maverick.
Um, love it.
All right. Derek hate, Maverick love. We're gonna come back around. Fresh hate or love it.
I'm gonna go ahead and plead the fifth, man.
Plead the fifth. Wow. Okay. All right. Will. Love or
Man, I
hate it?
think y'all already know my answer, man. I think y'all already know my answer, man. You know I'm super pro. What's not to love? What is not to love?
Okay, I'm expecting that. I'm excited to hear your answer
That's
on
a
that.
good question.
So vote. So
Post that for
Vulcan.
later on. What's not to love about hip hop culture?
There
We
you
got a whole
go.
different show about
Facts.
that.
All right,
Let's do
Vulcan.
it. Let's do it.
Yeah, now y'all know I got a verse on this, but we ain't gonna get into all that.
Nah,
But-
it's love it or hate it. Which one, brother?
Yeah. I'm gonna go
You gotta go all the way.
hate it.
What real quick, Derek. Bane, you used to hoop tangent. You used to hoop at the church.
Yes.
All right, I was like, I was like, ooh, I remember you. I remember you back in the day. They used to call you Jawbone. I had one of those moments where I remember you from. So Bane taught me on the pull up. You ain't always got to pull up in front of your face to pull up on the side of you, because you pull up in front of you, easy to make the easy block. I do that to this day, and I teach people that because of you, Bane.
They hit you on the arm, or you get your shot off. It's one of the two.
Yeah, you ain't got to bring it in front of you. Pull up from the side. That was that moment. Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
What's
Derek,
up,
he looks cool. GQ with the shades. Y'all know this man had like a 55-inch vertical. And I'm just
no. Bane was
close.
a hooper. Bane was you know who? No, sorry. Go ahead.
All right. So let's start with Derek. Explain your reasons. You can't keep less than 30 seconds. Explain your reasons why you hate hip hop.
I mean, Doc, obviously there are gonna be songs that I like. There are gonna be certain stuff, but when I look at it as a culture, it for me, since I am a man of God, then I have to put that in as my reason. For me, there is nothing in there that glorifies God at all. I mean, it's entertainment. It is what it is. And for most that live that as a lifestyle, it's a tough one. It's a tough lifestyle. So if I have a choice between love it and hate it, then I got to hate it.
And that's why we wanted to ask this question, because I was researching a lot of stuff that Drake was going through, and the audience, so the hip hop fans was split. A lot of people was hating what he was doing. A lot of people loved what he was doing. So I think that's a good question to ask everybody on this panel. Maverick, can you explain why you love it?
It's a culture, right? It's you're talking about hip hop culture, hip hop music, same thing, right? I could just go on hip hop, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a bitter and the sweet, right? Is there a lot of bitter in it? Like I think so, right? There's a lot of things we don't like about it, but it doesn't take away what's beautiful in it. It's a lot of people look at it from the outside in, not saying that Bane is not part of the hip hop culture, but his culture is bigger than hip hop. He's following the Lord, right? That's where he's at in his life. Mm-hmm. But then from the outside looking in, now you have the negativity bias. You're going to hear the negative is going to be louder than the positive.
I get that, but I just want to make sure we focus on why you love hip hop. Let's just make sure we focus on that and moving around.
But that's what it is, right? Like I see it differently than other people, right? Not saying that I'm right and someone else is wrong, but it's gonna have its bitter, it's gonna have its sweet. But overall, hip hop is, and that culture is how I brought up. That is Saturday mornings listening to the OJs. That is.
So would you say the reason? Well, we still gotta get the why. I know you, and that's good.
It is the Saturday morning waking up listening to the OJs. It is the come in before the street lights come on. It is what I listened to when I made NHS when I was in high school, or listening to Run DMC Toughen and Leather for the first time, and the Beastie Boys. Like hip hop it's music, right? So when I hear it and think about it, it plays with my emotions, not negatively all the time.
All right, well, that's good. We got to move it on. But I do like your point that you said that it's a lot of your experiences, though, the way you grew up on Saturday mornings, that's good, and it plays with your emotions, so that's a good why too. Let's get with let's let Will come in.
Yeah, man.
As far as why you love it.
Oh, okay. I think the hate and the negativity that, for me, loving it so much and trying to stay in tune with what it is versus what the perception and what the marketing strategy of it is created, in essence, from what I was told and from the guys that were there and that put these staples in place for us to even have a name to call it. You know, the guys who put it down, the Africa Bambaataa and the Zulu Nation, okay? He was the first guy to do it and say, yo, these are the tenements. And it's kind of been added on since then. KRS, a few other guys.
I get the history, but right now, I just want to focus on you. Why you love it, though?
I think because it's all inclusive, number one. You know, it's so far, I think, probably the highest form we got because it's such a fusion of all the sounds. There's no sound absent of it. You understand what I'm saying? Like that is something you can listen to and say, yo, I hear, merengue is something in this track. Yo, this Nelly did, songs dealing with country musicians. You hear all of that blended into hip hop, and it also is heavily sample based. At its inception, it gives a lot of younger kids reference points of guys to look to and put them on other sounds. And I just think, man, is probably the only genre that come with. Oh, my bad.
I do want to interject because that's a good point. Because we have to admit that this is the only form of music that do sample all genres of music. Because I learned Phil Collins through listening to Pac. I might have heard Phil Collins, but staring through my life through my rear view, it reverted me back to a lot of the pop songs, the hip hop songs. So that's something that that's a good point. Let's get fresh in here as far as you said anonymous, right? Or
I definitely did not say anonymous.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I plead the fifth. The reason I plead the fifth is just because on one hand, hip hop as a culture and as a musical art has empowered people that look like me probably more than anything in the world outside of professional sports. And if I'm being honest, it might be more so than professional sports because you don't need to be elite at it to be successful. Now, on the other hand, it also has degraded.
Shout out to Soulja Boy.
Hey, I think Soulja Boy is elite though, based on his accomplishments. I don't think he's an elite rapper, but in terms of hip hop, Soulja Boy is tippity top.
Yeah, he's one of the first YouTube stars. Yeah, YouTube stars.
But on the other hand, hip hop as a culture and as a musical genre has also degraded so many things about the culture that are moral and upstanding. So that's why I pled the fifth, because I don't hate it or love it, because I recognize in terms of community that it both benefits and takes away from the overall culture.
All right, and that's good. And we said this. We actually said this. This is part two for the audience that's watching. This part two of hip hop. I said at the end of the last episode that I hate that I love it. Right. My reasons, as an impressionable child at one time, I hated. I loved the music, but I hated that it screwed my perception how I view the world. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean when I say I hate I love. There's other reasons. I think overall it's good music, but overall it's more of a detriment to our community than it's more negative than it is positive.
Hey, if you don't mind me asking, brother, I mean to cut you off, but change how you view the world in what way, if you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, we talked about this on the last episode, just how I viewed authority at one time, how I viewed what they call the powers that be, promoting anti-establishment, right? getting involved in that. You see what I'm saying? And really, it was probably better for me to pursue the same goals the civil rights had, the promissory notice. You see what I'm saying? That's just one thing. I got some other ones. I want to get Vulcan here, but because some of my answers in some of these questions we're going to deal with, so I just leave it right there. But for the main reason, just how I viewed the rebellion stage that I went through, I think as impressionable kids, the hip hop was a soundtrack that supported my rebellious views, how I looked at, just authority, not just this country, but my parents and et cetera, you know what I mean? So let me bring Vulcan in.
Everybody else has already given their perspective?
Wait a minute. Yes, everybody.
Okay. Yeah, so for me, I look at hip hop like I look at Long John Silver's or McDonald's. I'm not saying I never go there, but I hate myself for it. And the reality is, I'm going to make a delineation here between hip hop and rap. Rapping, whether it's rhythm and poetry, if you take that definition of it, the medium you're using to convey the message, whether you're using rhyme and meter and assonance to communicate a message, I love that. I love figurative language. I love metaphors, double entendres, similes, foreshadowing. I love all of that. So that part of rap, I love that part. Hip hop, as Will pointed out, is a subculture, and it has different tenets, from graffiti to dance to the fifth element being knowledge of self, which I disagree with.
Hey man, b-boy, not just dance, right?
Yeah, dance, but the knowledge of self, KRS-One's version of it, I don't agree with his version of knowledge of self. So I'm making a distinction between rap, which I do love, and hip hop, which is a subculture that has, and like all cultures cultivate. Cultures cultivate, right? So what is it cultivating you to? It's not all bad, but some of the things that hip hop cultivates you to is materialism, self-worship, poor people bashing, the destruction of the family, immodesty, anti-establishment. And notice, audience, I haven't mentioned anything about drugs or taking people's lives or anything like that. Even the more quote unquote benign elements of hip hop that you see in the music is things that destroy the family, specifically the black family, because to everybody else is a video game. To us, it's real life. And so my point is saying that, yes, that's why I detest hip hop, although I do love rap. And even within some music that I don't agree with the general themes, I can enjoy the art form and be like, that guy said that awful thing very well.
Why is it not the other way around for you? My bad, fam.
Go ahead, Bill.
No, I was saying, why is it not the other way around, whereas you love hip hop? Because I always feel like rap falls under the hip hop umbrella. Like rap is, and you said you love rap. So if you love rap, the only thing left in the hip hop is, the DJing, the b-boying, the graffitiing.
Yeah, I don't agree with graffiti.
That's 5 different things.
Yeah, graffitiing is.
Yeah, and that's hip hop. That is all hip hop.
Yeah,
he's saying he don't like enough aspects of hip hop.
Yes.
To choose love. He loves one aspect, the MCing aspect of it. All the other things, for him, they outweigh it.
You don't like a fly DJ?
No. Again, I don't mind some good instrumentals. That's fine. I don't mind good instrumentals.
The Cabbage Patch?
Yeah, and I don't mind the Cabbage Patch. But
the stanky leg.
But graffiti, Will, Derek, Chris, Maverick, Enos, graffiti
is illegal.
Is defacing of public property before it became cool and a genre of style for artistry. It was illegal. That's its roots. So yes, I disagree with that. Now, me not being somebody who owned huge buildings and train stations at that time, I probably could care less because it doesn't hurt me. But it still wasn't right. So yes, I don't enjoy that part, even though now we have legal versions of graffiti as a style.
So you don't like it because of its illegal nature at the time, or even now?
No, the spirit of it is anti-establishment. That's why they would make something okay like that in the first place.
So you don't like it because it's anti-establishment. Hold on. So see, hold on. So
is it anti-establishment or is it trying to get something established?
No.
I'm a little confused on that.
Anti-establishment. It's trying to establish anti-establishment.
Yeah, it's definitely an act of rebellion.
I think it's trying to establish. I think it's trying to establish a certain voice that was left from, the guys who set up.
Hey, listen, painting was an art form before graffiti.
So graffiti.
How many graffiti artists do you know graffiti their own cribs?
Hold on,
their mother's crib.
Graffiti.
They would never do
it. Graffiti is.
Man, people, you gotta think. Well, people own those buildings. So just imagine somebody doing that to your parents' house or your house or your.
Yeah. Like I can agree with that. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing. Well, I agree that they're trying to get their voice out, but just because you're trying to do something doesn't mean that doing it illegally now makes it okay, right? I want to be heard. I want to get my voice out, right? You could say that about any number of terrorists, and I'm not trying to equate hip hop with terrorism, but I'm saying those terrorists' intentions are to be heard. We want our cause to be heard and recognized, so we're gonna damage some things that people care about, so they pay attention to us.
But
it definitely is anti-established.
But with that being
said, there's protesting in the streets, though. I mean, if things happen during a protest or a riot to be heard, I don't think that negates the message that they want to convey.
No, it doesn't negate it, but it also doesn't. It doesn't negate the message, but it also doesn't legitimize it either. Again, you're doing something illegal to be heard. That doesn't now make it okay to do. It just means that you decided to do something radical enough, right, to be heard. But it still is seen as radical. It's still like you went outside of the law so you could be heard. It's still outside of the law. Still wrong.
I agree. Yeah. But at the end of the day, the result. How do you feel about the result? Even though the means may be illegal, what do you think about the result of that angst and that desire to be heard? And if you're in a protest, buildings get broke. What do you think about the result that they're attempting to achieve? Maybe through, lack of know-how or education to do it another way. Not saying that these people are ignorant and not know how it goes on, but I'm saying like the movie John Q. I don't have a problem with what John Q did, even though it was wild. He did a wild thing. But the end result of what John Q wanted to do.
John Q went to jail, though. He was punished.
This is out of desperation.
Now, again, I'm not in agreement with, the ends justifying. The means. Is it the means justifying the end, or the end justifying the means? I'm not in agreement with that when it puts other people and their welfare in jeopardy. Now, my thing is, if there is a safe and peaceful way to do it, then I think it should be done. So if you go out and protest in the streets, there are protests that have happened without any damage. That means it's possible, right? So that doesn't take away from the message that people who damage public property and things, that doesn't take away from that message. That means they decided not to do it the best way.
All right, let's get Derek in. Derek haven't said nothing in a while. What's your thoughts on this whole thing?
I'm still on the fence, Doc. As I listen to y'all, I can't take my brain off of where I am in my thinking with God. So it's like
that's a valuable perspective, Derek. You gotta add that, man.
All right, well, here's the thing. I'm just gonna say it.
We'll get to those, man. As soon as we get done.
I see it, Maverick.
I think the culture can be very, 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 very hard for somebody to come into the knowledge that is truly beneficial to them. Now, I know people that don't believe what I believe are going to say, well, Derek, that's your opinion. I'm like, well, okay. But at the end of the day, when we all stand before that one person, it's going to be everybody's idea at that point. So I would rather say to anybody that's listening, yo, man, that ain't the way. Yeah, you can like some music, you can beat to bop or whatever, but as far as a culture and something you should follow, y'all know what song I'm about to sing. Hell to the no.
All right. Shout out to Derek. All right, Vulcan. Any thoughts?
Well, shout out to Derek because I think Gangstalicious had a song saying that ain't the way as well.
Gangstalicious is crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah. But yeah,
I'm a fan of his. That make me gay too, don't it?
So
He said, "Yep."
And this is for a comment that Maverick made on part 1 and a point that Enos and I discussed over the years. So one thing that Maverick pointed out that I thought was really good on his part was he says, I can listen to that stuff, but it doesn't influence me in that way to do those things. And to his credit, I 100% agree with that. But the thing is that one thing about hip hop, and this goes what Will was asking Enos about, is for those of us who don't get involved in the street life based off hip hop, we become street code sympathizers and enablers. So there's tiers. A fact. So there's tiers. Some people, maybe the more gullible or impressionable, are going to actually get involved in that lifestyle, or they're going to tattoo their face in their necks, or get their stuff in a way to where they don't have the same social mobility in corporate, right? They can't join the military. Now I've seen that happen, unfortunately, with family members who do that stuff because they fall in love with that subculture so much, right? Now again, that's a smaller percentage. Most of the people, especially within the Black community, become street code sympathizers and enablers. One common thing I would hear my friends say growing up from middle school to high school was, man, that's all they knew. They did that bad stuff because that's all they knew. Thankfully, they come out and they realize, no, they actually didn't know. Matter of fact, that person's parents were Jehovah's Witnesses. And matter of fact, Biggie Small's mom kicked him out the house for what he was doing. So he knew better.
They grew up Catholic.
Made a conscious choice. Jay-Z said on a white British station, when the guy goes, I know you from Marcy Projects, right? Yeah. He says, well, you did that stuff because you had to, right? He goes, no, that's what it was for the girls. Everybody. He said, that's what we told everybody. That was for the girls. So again, a lot of us sympathizers, not the ones in the street code as Maverick, they sympathize and give excuses to people who do those things because they've been convinced by the stories in the music that the person had no other choice but to do those things, when that was far from the truth, especially from people that are in their 40s and 50s and 60s. Their parents were a different generation of parents, unlike us as parents. They were churchgoers. They were being told the 10 Commandments on a regular basis. They chose to go against what they were being taught by their parents, by their church, by their community leaders, and went the direction of the streets because it was told to them that was so much cooler and to be a square was lame. And that's the sympathizers that I'm referring to.
All I want anybody that disagree. I just want anybody that disagree with Vulcan before we move on, and whoever disagrees, just keep it under 30 seconds. Who disagrees? Will, go ahead. Will, you're muted,
man.
My guy Will.
Keep it concise. Make sure you can do it in 30 seconds.
Man, that's hard to do under 30, bro. That's hard to do.
You can do it.
Wasted 10 seconds right there.
Oh, yeah. True.
I said a lot. Give him a minute. I said a lot.
Just let him
I'm gonna start it off like this. I mean, I find it hard to kind of grasp that guys can kind of put together something, come together as a council of brothers and say, hey, man, let's try to figure this thing out. Let's try to work it out. And we got to understand, hip hop was born at the tail end of probably one of the last real pushes at civil rights. The Panthers was getting taken out, brothers snitching on Fred Hampton and all that. Like, all of this is going on. They flooded the hood with heroin. We don't have ships and trains. I mean, we had gangs around before hip hop, but all of that was in the fluid, in the soup that created what we're doing. So the gang culture, the vernacular, the streets is heavily involved in the culture of hip hop. But look what is coming off the tail end of. Look at the people they're looking at.
But what is your point?
We're supposed to be.
I don't get what you're.
No, go ahead.
Are you saying that because of what they're coming on the tail end of, it excuses their behavior?
No, not at all. I'm just trying to give a little context quick as I can.
Everybody knows. Again, the narrative we've been taught since all of us who come up in hip hop, we're taught the same narrative. This is what they grew up around. They're a product of their environment. You know,
Yeah.
that's what we were all.
That's all they know.
So you're saying you're reiterating the point that we all grew up hearing. That was the Kool-Aid we were told to drink.
No. What I'm saying is you have something beautiful born out of those conditions, and you actually had guys come together like brothers do and put together something to help us get out of these conditions, but also make it fun and positive. Like I said, they had a council. This is what bodies do.
How is that beautiful? Will, how is that beautiful?
Real quick.
No. I'm saying.
Hold on. Let Vulcan say. You said how is what beautiful? Hold on, Will. Ask the question, Vulcan.
How is it beautiful? They stunt on the poor. All the way from the earliest hip hop till now, they always been stunt on the poor. Look at me. Look how broke you are. Look, how is that beautiful? This was not the civil rights child. It was you got Esau and you got Jacob. One of them was the one who was the Cain and Abel, right? So there was a civil rights child who was considered lame and not cool. While there was the other kid who was the rebellious anti-establishment person who came up and said, I'm gonna get my money by any means necessary, and look how lame you look and the girls you don't get because you don't got it like me. And you're celebrating that child and their values when they're the ones who are telling the uncool kids who are doing the right thing, the quote unquote civilians, that you're not cool because you don't have what I have. How is that beautiful?
But how do we always? Oh my bad. How do we always seem to make that the genesis of hip hop?
Before you ask
the question,
before you ask the question, well, just answer. How is it beautiful? Explain
that's what I'm saying. Y'all are telling me something that happened so much down the line from the brothers that was there at the creation and told us what it was. The beauty of it is that hip hop is all inclusive. So if you're in the streets, you're doing whatever you're doing, you know, LGBT, whatever. Yo, you can touch the mic. And if you're anti-LGBT, you can get on the mic and rock the party. This thing started in a park, break beats, people dancing, certain dances, and calling response on the mic. Okay, now saying that I can lay any woman, I'm strong, that predates hip hop. When we get into the flash, that's a separate thing than the marketing strategy. These guys told us what it was, showed us, and said, this is the tenets of what we do. So why do we keep inserting things that isn't hip hop? You can say, yes, that's hip hop marketing.
You can't discount the evolution of something. It was that at one point in time. It hasn't been that for a long time. So unless you're willing to cut out pretty much everybody outside of that era out of hip hop, everyone who's not adhering to that set of laws, then hip hop is all inclusive. Meaning the things, the immoral things that they're doing, the things that are outside of the genesis, as you put it, of hip hop, those things count too. You can't discount the evolution. Hold on, real quick. Let me make this statement real quick in response to what Will said. This goes back to my analogy, my crackhead uncle analogy. The problem is that you have folks who are willing to turn a blind eye to the ills of hip hop and street culture because of what it started out as. But there's so many organizations. There's so many, right? We're talking about cops, right? Dirty cops. We blame the good cops for not speaking up, even though as an overall culture, right? As it is inception, it's like, listen, this was a positive thing, right? We talking about any number of organizations that have been misused, right? If I look at hip hop as a tool, you have to understand that just because it's a hammer and the hammer's nails, I use a hammer to kill somebody, there is a duality in that, right? I can't just say what's a hammer is used to hammer nails. So therefore, I'm discounting what someone did wrong with it. You can do both of them. You can do both. So when you're talking about the negative aspects of hip hop, they do exist. We can't just be like, listen, hip hop is beautiful. That's it. Because there's so many aspects, right? You guys have agreed with us. Even the hip hop, I don't want to call y'all sympathizers. Oh, shit.
Okay, so let me ask another question. Let's